What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another Tottenham update. Just to let you know, just before we get into the update, we are on podcasting platforms such as Spotify, so go and check that out, as well as our articles, which are on WeAreTottenhamTV.com, so go check them out as well. But let's get straight into the update, and of course, we're going to start talking about Pedro Neto, as Fabrizio Romano says that. From what I'm hearing, it's likely he's likely seeing that Pedro Neto will be leaving in the summer window. There'll be important clubs on it. His agents have already been in contact with some clubs. I cannot mention the clubs yet, but for sure the appreciation of clubs like Arsenal is clear since a long time. Pedro Neto was appreciated by Liverpool some months ago. So let's see how, with the new director, what's going to happen with the three clubs. For sure are showing interest in Pedro Neto in terms of scouting, and we'll see what happens in terms of the negotiations in the next month. So Liverpool, Arsenal, Tottenham, and apparently some other clubs all going for Pedro Neto this summer. Do you see that being likely that he's going to join Spurs then if these clubs are in for him?
I mean, if we're in the Champions League, I think we still can definitely have a strong case for him to come, because if you're looking at our starting 11, I think he'll definitely see a pathway to getting, like, being the number one winger at the club, essentially, if he comes here being the star player. At Arsenal, look, they got very good wingers, Saka and Martinelli. He'll be competing with two very young wingers as well, very high quality wingers who've done a really good job there. Liverpool, chock-a-block full of attacking talent. Not to say that we don't have a lot of attacking talent, we do, but he's going to look at Werner and Johnson, or if Werner's still here, and Solomon, and he's going to think, I'm easily going to be ahead of those. It's not going to be the same.
You've got Sonny on the left.
You got, but Sonny could be a striker as well. So even if Son is a winger, he could also play up front.
Yeah, but I look at Liverpool's options, and I think Pedro Neto gets into that team.
I think he does, but it's not as easy as getting to the Spurs team. In my opinion, anyway. I don't think they're going to play him number 9. Salah's pretty much going to be playing on the right all the time. So he's got a spot on the left there, but he's competing with Diaz, competing with Gakpo, Jota, some very, very good players who Liverpool are happy with. We're not happy with our wingers. That's a big difference. And I'm not saying he wouldn't get game time, Liverpool. Of course he would. I'm just saying, when we're putting forward if we're putting our hat in the ring, we've definitely got a case. Look, come here, you'll be first choice winger every single week. You're going to be our star player. You can really explode. At Liverpool and Arsenal, I'm sure he would have a good career as well. But we can definitely have a case to put our foot forward as well, for sure.
You're looking at Liverpool as well. Like, Salah's getting no younger. How much longer is he going to be there for Liverpool? You could say that for Son as well. Yeah, sure. But Son's about to get a new contract and he's the club captain. Mo Salah, you just don't know how long he's going to be there for past this year. Klopp's leaving at the end of the season. Is he going to see it as potentially going on for a fresh new challenge? We don't know that.
Another reason you can buy big Spurs over Liverpool. Why start a fresh challenge when Postecoglou might be a year into his tenure, a bit more settled, and he maybe will be in a better place to really push on than Liverpool. You think
Spurs will be in a better place than Liverpool to push on in the summer?
Who knows? I don't know. Who knows? If Klopp's leaving,
I can safely say they won't be. I can safely say that Liverpool will be ahead of Spurs in the summer, 100%.
Well, look, they're going to have Alonso in, maybe. Well, depends who they appoint. Alonso might need a bedding in period. Maybe we could take advantage of that. Like, we've seen it. How many times have we seen it where managers like Klopp leave and it takes a while to start getting things right again? I'm not saying they're going to fall away mid-table or anything. I'm sure they're still going to be very, very good. But there's no guarantees he's going to hit the ground running and start challenging for the title in his first season.
Yeah, but I think it's different.
No guarantees.
There's no guarantees, 100%. But I think it's a different case, Liverpool, than a lot of other clubs. Like, let's say Man United under Alex Ferguson or something like that. Alex Ferguson left the club in dire straits when he left there with an aging squad. He's actually leaving Liverpool at the end of a rebuild, pretty much, with a young squad, hungry squad, and a squad that's fighting for the Premier League this season. I think he's leaving them in really good hands, to be honest.
United won the Premier League this season before.
Yeah, but it's a different kettle of fish.
Wenger when he left Arsenal, it happens. I'm not saying.
Yeah, those two clubs, he left. Wenger and Alex Ferguson left both of those clubs on a downward trajectory. Mm-hmm. I don't think Klopp's doing that at Liverpool.
No, I don't think so either. I'm just saying there's no guarantees that Liverpool, when a new manager comes in, it's going to be so really easy for him to just take the baton and take from where Klopp left off. It might take a bit of bedding. It might take a season, maybe no more than that, but it might take a season, and maybe we could take advantage of that. Of course, Liverpool have got a better squad than us right now. They're in a better place right now. But I'm saying I don't think we can safely say once Klopp leaves and if Tottenham get Champions League football next season, maybe we can take advantage of a little bit of uncertainty that might be appearing at Liverpool at that stage. But I'm just saying, when we're putting our project forward to Pedro Neto, and we do have Champions League football to offer, and we're playing really good football under Postecoglou, it depends how we finish the season, we could definitely sell him our project. And I think there would be, I think he would look at it very, very seriously. I don't think there's any guarantee he just bats us away straight away. There's no guarantee that he says yes either, but I'm just saying, I think we have a good case.
Look, there is a case. There's always a case, but I do think the Liverpool case will be more appealing than the Spurs case come the summer.
I don't
Even
know.
if especially if Xabi Alonso goes there.
I think we'll have to wait. We have to see how both teams finish season and everything. But I think Spurs could be a very attractive proposition for him.
Let's say Liverpool do go and win the title this year. Do you think like that even strengthens their case even more, like going to a Premier League title winners?
Yeah, probably.
And there's not even guarantees that Spurs going to get into the Champions League this summer.
Hence why I said if we get in Champions League.
We'll have to wait and see. I do personally think if like all these clubs are going after him, like we are a bit further down the pecking order, but there's always a chance, isn't there? So we'll see what happens with that one. The last few things, we've got 3 quotes to go through. First one from Heung-min Son, and he's spoken out on Instagram in a heartfelt message about Kang Lee. He met with Kang Lee in London yesterday or 2 days ago regarding the big bust up that did happen on career duty, and it looks as though that all has been forgiven and they have kissed and made up. And this is the statement that is put out from Heung-min Son. It says, "Hello, this is Son Heung-min. Today I'm going to talk about something a little heavy and difficult. Kangin sincerely regretted and sincerely apologized to all the players on the national team, including me. When I was young, I made a lot of mistakes and showed a bad appearance, but every time I had the tingling advice and teachings of good seniors, so I think I can be here now. So that Kangin will never do this kind of wrong behavior again. We will take special care of all our players as seniors of the national team and captain so that Kangin can grow into a better person and a better player. I don't think I did well about my actions, and I think it was enough to be criticized, but I'm the position that it's one of the captain's duties to do such unpleasant things for the team. So even if I'm in the same situation again, I'll act for the team. However, I will do my best to lead the team members more wisely and wisely in the future. Kangin has been having a very hard time since then. Please forgive me once with a generous heart as the captain of the national team. By all means, please." And among these stories for some time, the content about the side of the national team has nothing to do with the facts, and we always have tried to look at one's place as a team. I sincerely apologizing for causing such a noisy problem, despite being loved by the soccer, and I'll do my best to make our Korea national team a growing team with this opportunity. Once again, as the captain of Korea's national team, I sincerely apologize. So a very heartfelt message there.
My captain, Heung-min Son. I love that statement. Takes responsibility for his actions, but also doesn't distance the reasoning for why he had to do that, and he truly believing that the reason he reacted so strongly was for the good of the team. And sometimes those things, hard behaviors and hard actions have to be taken when team unity is threatened, all that kind of stuff. And that's what he's always thinking about. And he pretty admits, which is great, that maybe I went too far, maybe I shouldn't have done some things I did, but he doesn't apologize for why he did them. And look, Son is always such a team player. I thought it was a brilliant message, and he knows that Lee Kangin is such a big part of the future for South Korea, and he knows that he's a young player. Sometimes players, when they're young, they can do stupid things, and they maybe behave in certain ways which they regret later. So he's not going to completely, kick him aside and publicly shame him or anything like that. He's always going to back him, and obviously accepts that apology, and hopefully that matter can be put to bed now. But obviously I think it's a great statement from Sonny and just shows more leadership material from him. Yeah, he is just like day by day, by every action being shown what a great leader
he actually is, and for the national team, in the Spurs team as well. I love everything that comes out of his mouth, to be honest. I think he leads with such example. It's great to see the picture of him and Kang as well. If you want to go check it out on Sonny's Instagram page as well. So it's just great all round to see them back together. Two stars of the Korean national team, one of the past and the future and the present, and one of the future. So it's great to see those things coming together, and a good future for Korean football, hopefully, after that. Let's go on to James Maddison. He was asked who is the most skillful player on the Spurs team, and you might be surprised to find out the answer that he did give. And he says, in terms of actual skills, tricks and quick feet, I'll probably say Manor Solomon, one of the sharpest players I've ever seen. And that's actually made me quite excited to see him back in the Spurs shirt after he comes back from his injuries. We are, maybe when Solomon comes back, Richarlison might find it hard to get back in the team if Son does move into that central role with Solomon on the left, Kulu on the right, and Sonny up top.
Well, he did have a decent start to his Spurs career before he got that injury, so that was a promising sign. It's interesting to hear Maddison say that, because he's played with a lot of good players in his career. But I am trying to think of the players he's played with who is like a real box of tricks. There's not too many of those in the Spurs team at the moment.
English national team.
Yeah, English national team. You can say Foden, Saka, but I'd like. Are they players who do tricks? Or I guess Foden is a bit of a tricky player.
The comment there, which is really interesting to me, is the sharpest player I've ever seen. That is mad.
That is very high praise from a player who knows what it is to
Unless
be a sharp
he's just
player.
doing captain material, like leadership material, and just talking up his own players. That could be a case as well.
Well, when you look at, to be fair, when you look at our wingers in terms like Werner, Johnson, Son, Kulusevski, yeah, I think Solomon probably is a bit better than when it comes to like little quick feet, nimble feet, close control, and like have a little trick up his sleeve. Because that's just not their game. They're more. Doesn't mean they're less effective than Solomon. I think the opposite. But I think it's a different case. So, but it is high praise, and maybe we could do a bit of that trickery at the moment, because maybe that's something we're lacking.
Yeah, hopefully we will see him back in a Spurs shirt soon. But there's no kind of return date in store, is there? Or do we know about a return date?
Well, a couple of weeks ago, he said Ange said like between 2 and 3 weeks. So maybe after this break.
Hopefully we'll see him back for Palace then, maybe on a bench or something like that, and nice. Gives us another option to have. Do you think that once Manor comes back, that puts Werner down the pecking order, or do you reckon Werner's ahead of him at the moment?
I think Werner's ahead of him at the moment, in my opinion.
We'll have to wait and see. Hopefully Manor can, overtake Werner in the pecking order. I'd like to see that, or definitely to see him get some minutes. But we're going to finish off with some quotes from Rodrigo Bentancur about his return to full fitness. And he says, I feel really good in myself for the game at Manchester United. I went into it feeling in great shape physically, but then we had a fortnight without any games. So really, from a match fitness point of view, I found it a little tough then to come back. What's more, in such an important cup fixture as Manchester City. But in any case, I do believe I'm gradually getting back into my pre-injury form. I realise I'm still a little bit off that right now, as I said, but just now I was out of action for over 9, almost 10 months. And if you combine the two injuries, that is really a long time. So I have to just be calm, keep working hard in training like I have been, and then it won't be long before I'm back to my usual levels once again. Honestly, whether I'm playing in the number 6 or number 8, I honestly enjoy featuring in both roles. I realise that I need a few more miles on the clock in order to get back to those levels I was at before the injuries. I'm working on that currently, but whichever position the manager needs me to play in, I always hope to be ready and go and perform there. So it absolutely is, like I was saying, we've built a real family atmosphere here in which everyone helps each other out, irrespective of whether or not they are going to be in the starting 11. We have a really healthy competition, and that exists within the group, and we're showing proof of that all the time. And that we're really happy. For me personally, I had to delay getting started working with Ange a little bit as a result of my knee injury, but he really was a great source of support for me. For that first day that he got here, he was always keeping a close eye on my knee injury, how I was progressing. He'd ask me every week how I was feeling and how the rehab was coming along. He's an excellent person, and he's shown just what a great professional he is too. So once I was able to make my return, I just tried to settle back into playing as quickly as possible. And I think that has given me some excellent opportunities to feature. And moving forward, I hope to be able to continue as I have been doing that up until now. And obviously, we've got another 2-week break since he's been back. So do you reckon that will hamper him a little bit more?
if he's saying it happened him first time round, then logic will state that it's not going to be the best thing. I agree with Bentancur. I think the more minutes at the moment for him, the better, to get up to speed and get up to that sharpness, because at this level, you only need to be off it by half a second, and that makes all the difference, especially when you're playing the kind of game that Bentancur plays. The way he twists away from players, the way he carries the ball, those very quick passes, his dribbling ability. You just have to be a tiny bit off it, and all of a sudden that can be the difference between you taking the ball past someone and you getting tackled. And that's unfortunately what we're seeing at the moment, Bentancur. I don't think he's been terrible, like people are saying. Obviously, he's been completely not as good as he has been previously. He is still getting up to speed. There has been some good games when he's come back, but unfortunately of late there has been some bad games, and he has, by his own admission, not been up to scratch, and he needs just more time, and I'm certain he's going to get back to it. I think we all know how good he can be and what a good player he is, and I think he's so perfect for Ange Ball as well once he gets up to speed. We saw in that little snippet of when he looked 100% against Villa how great he can be in this kind of formation. Unfortunately, that he got another injury, and come back from one injury is hard enough, but come back from a second one must be really, really taxing on him, not just physically but mentally as well. So clearly he's being very positive about it. I'm sure sooner rather than later we're going to see him back balling again, but it's just a shame that it's going to take these performances where he's a bit off it to get through that. But unfortunately, when you get a serious injury like he has, that's what it takes.
Yeah, it was Ali Gold gave us a statement, like an update like a week ago or maybe 10 days ago now, I can't remember exactly when it was, saying that the medical team thought that he won't be back to his best until maybe next season or the start of next season. Do you feel like we will be seeing him at his best, at his pomp, before the end of the season?
It's hard to say. I don't know if we'll get him back to the level of how he was last season, but I would say is, if you ask the medical staff, probably when he got injured, when he'll be back, he's always beaten those dates. And what I would also say is, if you ask the medical staff, would you expect Bentancur to have looked as good as he did again in that Villa game, they probably would have said no, and he did. So obviously recently he's not looked great and he's been a bit off the pace, but I wouldn't rule it out, seeing him back to his best before the end of the season.
Love to see him back to his best. We need him back to his best as soon as possible, to be honest, because that 20 minutes against Aston Villa was probably the best 20 minutes he's had in a Spurs shirt. That's how good it was. So hopefully we can see him get back to those levels, but it's great to see the quotes from him, great to hear how positive he's being about his return, and that is the Tottenham update we have for you today. So let me know in the comment section below your thoughts regarding all the news stories we brought to you today. Like, subscribe and comment, and as always, come on you Spurs.